Did you see the response to the mastermind yesterday? Oh,
Yeah. No, it's probably starting live right now.
yep, it
So
is.
give me a minute. But it takes like a few minutes for it to get situated, if you will. All right. Thank you, Allie, for letting us know that we're on. We need more Allies in the world. So I'll say that. So welcome to Note Investing Made Easier. I'm your host, Martin Sines, and it's an honor to have someone that I consider a mentor to myself and to many others in the note space, Mr. Steve Lloyd with Stone Bay Holdings. Welcome to the program, sir.
Hey, buddy, how are you doing, Martin?
I'm doing wonderful. It's great. I know you don't do too many podcasts, so it's an honor having you on here today.
Only for you.
Well, appreciate it for now, and then more will be hitting you up after you do this one.
You can do whatever you want with me.
We have Guy, Allie, Matt. Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. So let's get right into it. Steve, how have you created success with Stone Bay Holdings? And why don't you just tell us what Stone Bay Holdings is for a minute first?
Yeah, so Stone Bay Holdings is an LLC, a Delaware LLC, and we have three pillars. We do reperforming and non-performing notes. We lend private capital to a few people who I call strategic partners. And then we buy apartment buildings, generally in Georgia, South Carolina. We own some mobile home parks and apartment buildings in Florida. And, it started out as, just buying, actually, I started with reperforming notes. That's how Stone Bay, when we first opened that company, everybody was buying all the non-performing notes. So I kind of try to keep everything simple. And I think that's how we built the large company that we have. At that time, when you go back 6 and 7 years ago, everybody wanted non-performing notes. That's all they wanted was non-performing. So I didn't want to do a lot of work, and I saw a lot of people that were raising capital, but when you're buying the non-performing notes, you weren't going to get paid for 6 months, 9 months, a year. And I thought that a lot of people were creating debt that way. So I thought that the reperformers were the gold. The people were already paying. So we started out opposite from what everybody else was doing. We bought millions of dollars of reperforming notes. And then we switched to the non-performing notes. And we did that through what we call strategic partners. So Stone Bay is made up of notes, lending, and apartment buildings, but in those three categories, we actually have strategic partners that we deal with. So really my expertise is really raising capital. That's where I think that I'm pretty good at it. I guess you would call me an expert. Everyone's an expert, right? But I actually really do raise a lot of capital. And how it started was, first of all, Stone Bay only deals with great people with great character. I try to align myself with amazing people. I love that word, amazing. But character is everything when you're in business with people. I make sure that if I do bring in a new strategic partner, that our goals are aligned. I want to see what their family's life's like. I really dig into the person before they become a strategic partner. So, right now in the note world, we have one group that there's actually 2 or 3 people that are strategic partners with us. We only lend to like 10 people. So, I think if we got into lending money on people's rehabs and tax lien sales in the 30s and 40s, we would have more problems. But I'm able to select, we have about 10 or 11 people that I lend money to, and that's it. I mean, it's very hard to get in our circle, but it's very easy to me to keep things organized when we limit the amount of people that we deal with. And then there's, we buy apartment buildings, and, pretty much they have to be over 20 million now. We took that 8 million, then a 14 million, And really now we just get selective, and it's pretty much, we don't buy anything over under 20 million. And I have two great gentlemen that I do business with there, that I know that if something doesn't go right, there's going to be great communication on how to solve the problem. And it's really setting a culture within our company. There's about 6 employees here that we work together. I even know what our employees' goals are. I even know what they want out of life, because when you create that culture, we all have to be on the same page. It's not like Steve or Kerry fakes. We own this company. We own this company together. And when we have successes, they share in our successes. And it's just our investors. People take investors lightly, but there's no other group of people that are more important to me than my investors. They have made up Stone Bay. They've got us to where we are. And it's pretty great when you can just call people and they're all there for us. So there's some of the things how we've created Stone Bay. I think people make a mistake of making things too difficult. They get in too many different ways and angles in the real estate. I just know over the past 14 years what's worked for us. It's been notes. I know that you can make a lot of money, and a tremendous amount of money in lending money if it's done right. And I know that we can make a lot of money in apartment buildings, but we don't really get out of that zone. So believe me when I tell you, it's usually on a monthly basis, there's like at least 10 different people calling me with different ideas, different, commercial properties or commercial notes. And I just go, sorry, no, because we are laser focused on what we're doing.
What's interesting and what I hear when you're explaining Stone Bay is I hear a resounding, emphasis on strategic partners in every regard. So whoever your vendors are, your employees, knowing what their goals are, the investors, the strategic partners you align with, experts in the field, so to speak. And also I hear a control element too. So you actually are setting it up so you have full control over who you do business with, who you align with, and so forth. Would that be a correct?
Yep, that's exactly what we're doing. I've had bad partnerships. I've had things go the wrong way, and unfortunately, when things are going the wrong way, people run. They get scared. They get depressed. They do things that they really just shouldn't do and then they go deeper and deeper in the hole rather than just facing the problem head on. And when we have these strategic partners, yeah, we do have issues come up, but we call each other. It's almost like an accountability partner or just someone else to talk to. You know how hard this business is. You know how hard any business is. It was pretty cool yesterday morning. I had a woman call me yesterday morning, and I haven't seen her for probably like 5 years. And, she sees a lot of my stuff on social media, and my phone rang, and I was caught off guard because I wouldn't know why she would be calling me. And she just said in the first 30 seconds, I just needed someone to talk to. I'm having a rough time. Things aren't going well. I've had a really bad 6 months. And I was like, all right, let's talk. What do you got going on? And we just kind of drilled down to, she was concentrating too much on the bad things that were going on in her life rather than concentrating on the really good things that she has going on. And after like a 30-minute conversation, I really think that her whole, I heard her voice change. And I think she was looking forward to tomorrow getting at it again rather than being the state that she was in. And that's just about helping each other. I get this question all the time. Why do you get involved with so many different people? And I just said, because we all got to help each other. The hardest part is when things aren't going well. It's easy when things are going bad, right? It's easy when it's going great. But, you got to see who's going to go to battle with you. Who's going to sit in that hole and fight your way out of it together. And I think that, we're pretty proud of what we've done.
And it's not just from a business transaction relationship standpoint. I can tell you, like a year and a half ago, I was having a real hard period in business. It was just some bad things just seemed to be happening or just getting me down. I was getting depressed, and it was you, Fred Moskowitz, and Dan Satofsky all reached out to me that day, and that just kind of meant a lot to me. I wasn't having any challenges like monetarily or anything like that. It was just having a hard time.
Yeah.
Like just the weight of things were getting to me. And then you guys all reached out, and that just meant the world to me. I needed that because this business can be lonely sometimes.
A big part of it was just getting that problem, or just not maybe a core problem, but just in general, someone to talk to and going, what's going on with you guys? Because people say to me all the time, Steve, your life looks so awesome. You're down in Siesta Key, you're in Florida, you're doing all this stuff, you're in California. Well, you know what? It gets tough for me too. I mean, everything's a cycle, right? I just understand the simple concepts of life. We need to help each other. We need to stay focused. We're going to get down. What is the action plan when you do get down? So Carrie always says, you're going to get knocked down, but it's how fast you get up. And then what is your support system around you to help you get back up? Because sometimes we think that we're this, bold entrepreneur and we're going to take over the world and it's easy, and it's just not. One of my best talks was at Dave Van Horn's group a year and a half ago. What the Mid-Atlantic Summit is coming up next weekend. I'm off the chart excited. I'm doing the auction. People better bring their checkbook, or I'm going to be stealing some wallets and running those credit cards. So we got some great things for that.
Oh, event, You ran it so hard last year. I'll be there this year, and I know Jason Scott's on. He'll be there as well, and some others. But he's on. He's listening to us right now.
Tell you, the talk that we had was more about the trials and tribulations of my life. And usually speakers get up there and they're just like, yeah, this is easy. This is awesome. Buy my crap. Then they're gone, right? Buy my $2.99 shit, and then they're gone. And this is not how it works. You have to create something with people. And, when I did that talk, it's been hard. There's been low points. There was like a month where I didn't know if we were going to be open the next month. And that makes everything, realistic to the people that I talk to, that being genuine and going, yeah, this is hard, roll up the sleeves, but, put 6 or 7 people that are in your circle, and we're going to get through this life thing together. I say it to you all the time. Call me whenever you want.
And you remember those individuals that stuck with you, Carrie included, when you had the hard time, and where the door is going to stay open. And that's got to be all the more meaningful, when you flip the script and you're on the successful side of things for the most part.
Yep. But the biggest thing is, don't forget where you were. Right? Don't forget where you were in life, where you are, where you're going. Carrie, we've been together for about 11 or 12 years, and in business, we have a bond like no other. She was there for me when the companies were struggling, but then we did Stone Bay together, and pretty much there isn't a business that we don't do together. So we just got that new LLC, passive income for life. I was shocked that it was available. So that's a pretty cool LLC.
Awesome. And I remember you telling Carrie, hey, you should just go. It's probably time, this isn't working right now. You should probably go and you have a family, you need to go look after yourself. And she didn't leave at that point.
No, she didn't go. She just said, we'll get through this together. And, we're in a bad situation right now, and we need to bond this company together. And, it probably took us about a year to get back on track, a year and a half. But another learning experience, Dave Van Horn used to tell me, I was like, Dave, this deal just cost me $30,000. He goes, well, that's a $30,000 education. So we've had some pretty big 30s and 40s and $100,000 education payments through mistakes that we've made.
I'd say probably the number one issue or challenge in the note space, because, obviously keeping it in the note theme, is that a lot of folks come into the space, even veterans, and they stay as sole proprietors. They like a lone ranger kind of strategy, and they do everything themselves, raise the capital, do the due diligence, do the workouts, and they're a one person wrecking crew. So kind of what you're saying.
One person wrecking crew or being
crew.
wrecked?
Yeah.
Or
yeah.
being wrecked.
So how would you, what advice would you give that individual? Because there are many of them out there.
Okay. If you want to do this business on your own, that's fine. I can do a lot of these companies. Carrie and I can do a lot of these things on our own. But I think what we've done at Stone Bay and what I've done in my life, I create these strategic partners to be for job specific tasks. I hope I said that right. So I am not a good person to do note workouts or make phone calls. I am the capital guy. And we've created partnerships with people to use their strengths. So the people, the one group, they're experts in the note world. All they needed was money. So I get them all the capital they need. They have access to notes. They know how to work out the notes. Then they hired someone to do some of the other tedious jobs that they shouldn't be doing. So there's a lot of things the entrepreneur does that they need to be assisted with, and that they would create better companies for themselves. So it's going to sound crazy. I've never evaluated an apartment building. Never. I have two strategic partners that evaluate those apartment buildings. They do the due diligence. They get the loans. But when we put that building under contract, they go, Steve, we need $6 million. Then I go into action. So you have this core system of a couple pillars of the people that do exactly what they're good at. And we all try to take on too much. And then we go, well, I can't afford it right now. Figure it out. Put money aside so you can get assistance from other people to help you grow your business. It all depends how big you want to be. You can stay small and do a couple notes, or I own thousands of notes. It's great, but I don't know how much more we want to grow. We have other ideas, but not growing too fast, growing too slow. These are all balances that you need to mix in your life. But if you really go back and listen to this interview later, I keep everything simple. People come to me with complicated deals. I don't listen. I don't want to be involved in that. It has to be structured and organized to be involved in deals. When I start hearing these crazy things, we could do this, we can do that, we can do this. I just walk away. And a lot of times, you make the most money when you walk away from a bad deal. So never change your numbers. I never change my numbers. When we buy notes, when we buy properties, we're very, very, very specific on what type of apartment buildings we buy. In the past 9 months, people were overbidding, they're overpaying. I'm not going to bid up just because I say I own a 250 unit apartment building, or I'm not going to lend 80% loan to value when I'm lending to somebody just because I like the deal or I trust that person. No, it stays at 65%. You got to follow the rules of the business. In the note world, we buy specific notes, and that's it.
And so, but it's tempting, right? So as a business professional, you're there and you're saying to yourself, well, gosh, I'm going to put in my note bid at 27 cents on the dollar. However, I believe the target price or the, price on the street, so to speak, is at 30 cents. Should I come up from what I feel comfortable with at the 27 cent number? And to that, you would say, no, stay true.
If it doesn't meet my rate of return, because there's so many you got business expenses, you want to make money. One thing as I do anymore, I make money, but that's by sticking to the rules. So that's pretty cool with Stone Bay. That's why, the note world for us was really slow. I mean, it's for some crazy reason, it's been busy again for us the past 2 months. But prior to that, the previous 2 years, I had to adapt. So there's another word that we can talk about, adapting to the business or restructuring what you need to do. That's what we've really done well at Stone Bay. So we started out as notes. But then over the past 2 or 3 years, we noticed that it slowed down. Prices were too high. So that's when we went into lending 4 years ago. Last month, we did $7.7 million worth of lending. I can't even believe it, right? And then we sold an apartment building. We're turning stuff over. But when I saw, if we go back 2 or 3 years ago, I saw the notes that were slowing down. The lending comes and goes, right? And now we're watching this market to see where it's going, right? Up, down, in the middle, where I'm a little nervous about it. But then that's where we filtered in to apartment buildings. So we're diversified. And you know what? Our investors love us being diversified. So if you want to go back to your question about doing everything, I raise capital. That's all I'm good for, right? People call me for all, how do you have out an apartment building? I don't know. How do you have, I don't know if I've ever even looked at the paperwork on a note, on a non-performing note. I don't want to. It's not what interests me.
So simplicity. So to that point, if someone, the elevator pitch, right? What do you do for a living? And I know you've driven that home in many of your keynote speeches. And to that, you would say what?
Me?
Yeah.
My name is Steve Lloyd. I buy distressed assets across the United States. I raise capital, and we buy notes, apartment buildings, and we lend private capital. And you can switch that up to whatever you want it to be.
Yeah, I know you've even said, hey, I raise capital for a living. And then
it all depends what you need, right? We're not going to get into elevator pitches too much, but it all depends what you need, and that's what you need to adjust your elevator pitch when you're talking to somebody. And there's another simple thing. I can't tell you how many times when I'm out at a restaurant or I'm down the beach or I'm away from the office and someone goes, hey, what do you do? I'm dead on what I do, and usually I make it sound different from whatever else, what they're not used to hearing. I raise capital, I raise private money, I buy charged off second mortgages across the United. What's that? Well, then I get excited and I start telling them. And then I go, hey, did you ever hear of self-directed IRAs? No, what's that? I'm like, you never heard of self-directed IRAs? There's the takeaway, right? Because now they're begging you for information rather than me throwing up all over them, telling them what I do. A couple words to entice them to talk back to you.
Well, what's interesting is we connected a few months ago for lunch, and to your point on being laser focused, you actually had your P&L statement that you keep a track of, like right on your desk in front of you, and you say that you look at that daily. Is that correct?
Yeah, there's a couple things that I look at daily.
Okay.
The P&Ls isn't really a daily thing, but what is my daily thing is it's actually, here's a P&L right here, baby. But it really is. So I'll try to teach everyone something here. So what I do is I know exactly what my monthly expenses are. I'm telling you, I know it to almost the dollar. And what I do know is I know exactly how much I have personally invested in assets. And what I started doing a couple years ago, this is how you can retire. This is how my plan to retire is. So I have my expenses, and then I have my personal investments. I'm not talking about business investment. My personal investments, I have notes, I have investments in apartment buildings, and then I have on the right-hand side, I have all those investments and exactly what I bring in every single month. And years ago, it was $1,000 off my investments. So the point I'm trying to make is if you have that right column of all your investments and you build up that up to 2,000, 3,000, 5,000, 10,000, and once you go past your expenses, you have something. And then you set goals. I want to get to 10. I want to get to 15. I want to get to 20,000. But the key is that is right here underneath my computer. I had it disappear for a second. I look at it every single morning. Every single morning, I go down my expenses and I go down the right-hand column and I can tell you what my investments are bringing in every single month. Because that is the most important thing to me in my life, is to get my investments more than what my expenses are. And if you look at every day, it's in your subconscious. I know exactly what it is and I know where it's going to be. I know what my goal is.
And you have you celebrate moments of achievement when you buy an asset that gives passive income, and you're able to beef that number up on the income column?
Yeah, I mean, I just keep an Excel spreadsheet, and every time I make an investment, I pop it in there and I put my cash flow. I want to be paid. So, a lot of I don't know if I have any investments where I don't get paid every month. So what I mean by that, when I invest in an apartment building, there's a pref return on that. So I get on most of mine, it's an 8% pref. I'll talk about another topic in a second. So it's just Steve Lloyd's only getting an 8% pref. Why isn't Steve Lloyd getting 16? Because I want money coming in all the time. And in an apartment building, that equity profit will come later. But I make an apartment. I make an investment in an apartment building, 100 grand. I'm getting $8,000 a year. Divide that by 12, whatever it is. And then I do a lot of lending out of my self-directed IRAs and my regular money, where I'm charging, 10 and 12 and 3 points. So that's probably about an average of a 13 or 14% return. So now I have money coming in there, and then I own individual notes, more money coming in every month. So I don't normally invest in something where I don't get paid for 9 months to a year. So I don't put up $100,000 investment. We're talking about personal stuff. I don't usually put up $100,000 for something and let's see what it's going to make in a year and a half, and then I get that lump sum payment. I'd rather have income coming in every single month, know exactly what I'm getting paid. And I think investors make a lot of mistakes of chasing returns all the time. You want your money working for you, whether it's 8, 10, 12, 13, 14, 15, whatever it may be. I have guys, well, I'm not making an investment unless I'm getting a 14 to 16% return. I think it's absolutely ridiculous. People just don't realize how good in this world an 8% return is, a 10% return is. 12 is amazing, 14 is off the chart. So I have investments where I'm only getting an 8% return, but my money's working for me all the time. It must be working.
And so, to that point, you see that it's working. If you're looking at your P&L, if you're looking at, your financials on a daily basis, you understand what's working, what's not working, so to speak.
Well, that's my investment part of it. But if we're talking about P&Ls, look, I am not, if you go back 7 years, someone brought P&Ls up in books, I'll be like, I'll talk to you tomorrow, right? Just tell me what the bottom line is. Today, if you're in business, you need to understand what a balance sheet is, and you need to understand what a P&L is. It is so important. Another thing that we do is, I hope this can help people, we bring in our accountants in every single quarter. We don't skip a quarter. They come in, there's usually 3 of them, they spend the day with us, and we just have strategy meetings. They're looking at all the books that my office is taking care of, and they're going through them all, make sure everything's booked right. And then the most important meeting is on October. I would say the last 2 weeks of September and the first 2 weeks of October is the most important meeting, because you can really kind of tell where you're going to be have profit or you're going to have losses for the year. And if you have a lot of profit, you might want to buy some equipment. If you have a lot of profit, we've been very profitable the last couple of years. So, I'm trying to sell a property that I have by the end of the year, because I know I bought this property like 5-6 years ago with someone and it didn't go well. They left me with it. So right now I'm going to sell this property by the end of the year, because I know it's going to be a $60,000, $70,000 loss. I really don't want that to go into next year. But if I didn't meet with my accountants every quarter, and that core meeting in October, where you really can dictate, what your taxes are going to be by the end of the year. Now, it depends how big you are, but it's just having that meeting and keeping everybody on the same page, because we used to do it the last 2 weeks of December, and everybody was scrambling, and we're trying to talk to our accountants. What do we do? Well, they're busy. They're done. That's the holiday season, that month of December. But that is a really good point, Martin, to make sure you know your P&Ls, your balance sheets, and do that checkup every quarter and in October.
No, thank you for that. And so let's jump back to, you mentioned that you only deal with a few strategic partners in each of the pillars that Stone Bay operates in. So speaking specifically for the note partners, if you will, what are some of the attributes you've seen from those individuals that make them good strategic partners?
Communication. We communicate back and forth. They tell me what they need. I tell them what I need from me. When it comes down to the accounting on what notes we're buying, before we buy a pool, or if we're buying 20 or 30 notes, we do a screen share. They tell me why they're buying those notes. They tell me what the projected profits are going to be. They tell me what the good notes are. They tell me we're going to struggle with these notes. We go over a budget of what lawyer fees are going to be, all the expenses, everything, the whole package that goes into the deal. We just don't go, oh, we got some really good notes in California, we're just going to take them down. No, 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 no. We're going to evaluate what's going on. On the purchase is so important, but do they want to sell these notes off in a year? What's their objective with these 50 notes that we're buying? Are we going to keep them? I always like to buy 50 or 60 notes and sell off 20 right away, so I can create leverage, and that purchase price, actually the average of that purchase price will come down, right? If you bring in some profit right away. It's some of the best thing that we've done. You get 60 notes. I'm not selling any of them. I'm keeping them all. Mm-hmm. Well, a note, it takes 6 to 9 months to work out, or whatever it may be. But if you got 60, sell off 10 or 15. If you buy 10, sell off 2. Give yourself some operating cash. I know our biggest, not our biggest trade, but we did a $3 million trade about 4 years ago. It was about 600 and some notes then, when notes were really cheap, because we bought them for like 8 cents on the dollar, a fantasy number right now. But we sold off about 100 of those notes and really brought in a good amount of money to take care of all those carrying costs, where we weren't paying interest out to our investors. And that sprung us into millions of dollars of profit. We're still making a lot of money from that pool, but it was from not going into debt. Debt will kill you. I see these people doing JVs and paying out interest, and even JV partnerships going wrong. You know why they go wrong? Because you're not on the same page. And no matter who you're doing business with, keep up with each other. Be accountable to each other. That's why typically with everyone, all our strategic partners, we usually have monthly meetings. Some are quarterly. It depends how much volume we're doing. But that's a phone call once a month, and to review everything. What's going on? The good, the bad, the ugly. It's communication and staying on the same page.
And also, going back, it's interesting with the communication piece, because it goes back to the simplicity that you mentioned earlier in the podcast, and the fact that you like simple deals and you like just straightforward dialogue with strategic partners. So everything can be understood, and there's nothing too overly complex, right? Because if it's overcomplicated, then you feel like that's when there might be more risk involved in that opportunity or that partnership.
Yeah. I mean, look, I did a deal with a guy last month, and it took us about 2 weeks to put the deal together, and we were having conversations every other day. And then these 2 guys came up to Stone Bay's office, and they sat with us for 2 hours. And we just went back and forth and back and forth. And what's the game plan? What's the strategy? How much? How are we going to pay the interest? When do you think you'll get so many notes reperforming? So it's that communication part. Did I answer your question there, or did I stray? Sorry.
Yeah. No problem at all. And then you also mentioned Florida with Siesta Key. So what is it that you're building down there? What's your game plan with that area of the country?
Yeah. So I've always had this dream of being on an island, and always had this dream of owning a house on an island. And I love my friends, and I love my friends are entrepreneurs. So I think, one, we have an amazing property down there, and we're working on another one. And I think that I will be able to go enjoy it and share with other entrepreneurs, to be able to bring them down there and have some mastermind groups, have some cookouts, get a DJ, we'll go paddleboarding, we'll go wave running, and, for like 4 or 5 days and have a really good bonding experience. I am sick and tired of sitting in the hotel room. No, we're going to be sitting in our bathing suit. We're going to have flip-flops on, right? We're going to have sunscreen on, and we're going to have Dave Van Horn there. We're going to have you there. We're going to have Fuqua there, and we're going to have my core surrounding the people that I really care about. And then we're going to invite other people into it. And it's going to be an experience, a life experience, how we should be living our life, enjoying life and having fun and doing business and learning from each other. But, we can call it a mastermind if you want, but, people are going to come and tell us what's wrong, what problems they're having, and we're going to try to solve those problems. But we got a great area to do it. The whole Sarasota area is awesome. Siesta Key gets like the #1 beach in the country every other year. It's beautiful there. And I haven't been this excited about, being somewhere or going somewhere or doing something in my life than, getting this property in Siesta Key. I'm all pumped up. You see it's all over Facebook. So.
Oh yeah. It got a lot of attention, and I'm definitely, down. You let me know when. I remember a few years ago, you did the last mastermind, and it was a day-long event, but it was the hotel setting, right? The table, it was very formal. And it was great hearing Tony, Keith, Kyle, everybody there sharing their story. I did cry like a little baby because I do get teary-eyed very easily, but yeah, it was a very formal, structured. You could tell it was that hotel feel.
Well, I thought it was pretty disorganized, but I'm not exactly the most organized person. But we threw it together in a couple weeks, and we had we had a good time. But this is going to lead into. This is, look, Airbnb and Verbo and short-term rentals and vacation rentals, it's here and it's growing and it's changing people's lives. So it's something that, Carrie and I have added into our portfolio. So we're going to create more properties, and actually we're getting to really, really know the short-term rental market. So we have another business. We're doing it. We're involved in it. I know exactly what people need. How to buy it, why to buy it, what they need to do to their properties. We got Nest, we got Ring, we got the cleaning ladies that tell us everything that's going on. They're our core people, our cleaning lady. They're the most important people in that whole system of having vacation rentals, because the cleaning people go in and clean, they see the problems. They see if we had bad tenants. They're calling, we have it set up where they just call the maintenance guy when they have a problem to eliminate us. I can see Ring. I can see the whole property live right on my phone. I have 6 cameras down there. I can see exactly what's going on with the property. We know how Airbnb works. I know how to take you, you get me all pumped up. I know how to take you from when you first sign up for Verbo, you start at the bottom of the list, right? So if you're in an area, say Siesta Key, and you just get a Verbo account or an Airbnb account, you start at the bottom. So if you don't know how to work your way up the list, when someone goes on to rent a 3-bedroom in Siesta Key, they're never going to see you. You're going to be 10th you're going to be on the 10th page. You'll be the 80 or 90th property seen. Well, I knew, God's honest truth, in 3 months, I took us to like number 80 to top 5. And now we're a Verbo premier partner with them. I know exactly how to do it. And you're not getting that for free today, because that's going to cost you a cheeseburger.
Is that a cheeseburger? Yep, done. Is this a 4th pillar to Stone Bay?
It's looking like the 4th pillar, but it won't be inside of Stone Bay. We're going to separate that out of Stone Bay. But one thing I think we all need to do is help each other. Everybody wants to sell something. Everyone's got a course. Everybody wants you to meet. It's dry. I have no courses. I don't charge anybody for anything. And I'm telling you, look what I did yesterday. I put that up there, the mastermind in Siesta Key. Oh my gosh, we have like over 100 people wanted to come. I had Asian guys, my buddies. I'm kidding. Don't get mad at me. I did say Asians. They're like bickering on who's going to come, and they're going to make the first mastermind. And creating excitement, man. We're going to go down there and we're going to freaking have fun, and we're going to leave a a little changed when we leave that, when those 4 days when I start doing this stuff. But you always just don't have to charge everybody for everything. Get a group of people to help each other. So yes, you do have value. You do have to charge when someone's taking your time, but it just doesn't have to be all the time. You have to get amazing value when you go places, and you have to pick and choose what events you go to. That's really important, because people just go to events, right? This event, that event, this event. You need to hone down and find out who's going to be at that event and exactly what topics are going to be there.
You know what's always interesting, because you're one of the first guys I met in the note space in 2013. It was at an event outside Philly Airport, and you were there. Dave Van Horn, everybody was there, and what I found very interesting is you were always very direct, and you said exactly what you were looking for in a very clear manner. And, every time I see you, hey, when am I going to lend you money on a deal? What do you got for me? And just like, so even though you have this personality where you're looking to help everybody, it doesn't matter if it's going to come back to you financially or not. But when you're at an event or when you're connecting, you're very much about business too.
Oh, well, we're having fun in business. I can't wait till next weekend. And I want people to come up and talk to me. Just don't come up to me and waste my time. Don't ask me ridiculous questions of things I want you to come and talk to me about things you want to do in the next 6 months or in the next month, or good, solid conversations. I love to be involved in. So just don't come up to me with fantasy stuff, because I'll walk away with you. I'll blow you off because I just don't have time. But if you have core issues or core problems or things that you want to talk about, I'm there for you. I'll be there all weekend, or IM me, or reach out to me somehow, and I'll try to give everybody a little bit of time. But you have to be serious. Don't come to me if you're not serious. I need serious people, because I want to give you serious answers and give you my time, and I don't want you to waste your time either. So I was at a mastermind. My past month was amazing. I was everywhere. I was in Siesta Key. I was in California for Scott Duffy's mastermind. Then I was with Kyle Wilson, and it's just keeping myself balanced and meeting great people. I love meeting people. And
that was wonderful. The Scott Duffy. I mean, all those individuals, and you were just
that was good,
giving descriptions about people. And
yeah. So one of the guys comes up to me and he goes, the last time I met you, I really wasn't sure about you. You really made me nervous. And he goes, I'm not even sure if I like you. He goes, but today I love you. I said, let me tell you something. I should have a t-shirt that says all that, because usually I just tell people up front. I mean, I tell people, I said, look, I'm telling you, the first day of Dave Van Horn's event, you're going to hate me, because I'm going to tell you the way it is. You're not going to get any sugarcoating from me. And then you're going to take that information home. It's going to be a wake-up call, and you're going to look in the mirror and see how you can straighten your shit out. And then we're going to talk tomorrow, and you're going to go back to me and go, you know what? You were right. Getting things straight isn't that hard. You just have to be accountable for yourself. So it's getting kind of funny, because people think I'm always in a bad mood because I don't have that smiley face all the time. But I don't sure if I like you, Steve, but they always usually come back and say, we love you now.
Yeah, I'm telling you, the passion is just oozing out, and it's just like you're always like, I think you're so serious about what you're serious about, and that's what always shows to me. So I mean, you're always you're in a good mood. You're extremely likable, and such a good heart and all of that. But you're just very serious about everything, and you're serious about other people doing well too, and being the best. So coming to you, if I'm wishy-washy, if I'm unclear, that's all kind of, that's not how you would approach you. That's not the best way to approach.
That's just it. If you're not sure about what you're getting, just come to me. I'll cut you off if I think you're wasting my time, but just don't come to just have a conversation. Let's talk. Tell me what you need, and I will try to help you. I'm pretty diverse. Look, one thing about me is I want everyone to succeed. I've been there. I've been through the good, the bad. I've been an entrepreneur since my 8 years old. I had a pizza shop when I was 20. I didn't get into real estate till I was 38 years old, like 13 years ago. Wow. So I got experiences all over the place. And if I can help you with the things that I know, my knowledge, I want to help entrepreneurs. trust me when I tell you, I want you to succeed. I will be there, succeed, and trying to help you. And I don't want anything for it. But, entrepreneurs, we're the greatest people in this country. We make up this country. If you're a W-2 incomer, guess what? You work for an entrepreneur. So we are the backbone. Entrepreneurs are the backbone of this country. So we got to stick together and we got to help each other as that little tight-knit society we got going on.
But you see it fragmented right now. You see everyone kind of just in their own zone and not really connecting together as an entrepreneurs as a whole.
Well, I don't know, but I just know helping each other, and with Kyle Wilson's mastermind, everybody helps each other. I mean, in that circle of Kyle's group, was like 25 people, and people come out and say some crazy stuff about their life and how bad something is, but there's a massive support system there. It's why, I think I put something on Facebook to say, I said, don't criticize, get your own shit together. There's too many people with problems that are criticizing other people, and it just doesn't make sense because everyone's got a story, right? I got a story. You got a story. Before you criticize somebody, find out that person's story before you're critical of somebody, because we all have it. We've all had our story. I know I got a crazy story for 50 years. I actually should write a book someday, but maybe that'll come. But it's just helping each other, and that's what we need to do more of without trying to turn a profit all the time.
Okay. No, that's well put. If anybody has any questions, please put it out. I know we got a good group of people that are watching right now, and Steve's on with us. So where are you taking the ship? I mean, where do you see things going for Steve Lloyd, for Stone Bay into the future? We kind of get a sense of where you're at now.
Just be consistent. I mean, we love what we do. I'm not going to venture out into too many other things. People get nervous about product, and the world's coming to an end. Numbers don't lie. Be consistent what you do. Become an expert in your field. Put the time in. I have entrepreneurs that come to me after 2 years are like, I don't know if I can do this anymore. If you're going to open up an LLC, if you're going to open up a business, you better believe that it's going to take 6 to 7 years. And people come to me and they go, I quit. I stopped. I got unfocused. I want to go start something else. Well, guess what? You're just starting another 6 to 7 year process. To me, when you start an LLC, it takes 6 to 7 years to create success. Now you got to choose what success is to you. There's a whole gamut of things for me. It's definitely not just about money, because I'm trusting you. Trust me when I tell you, keep chasing the money. It's never going to work, because the money really doesn't matter. Because trust, we've had amazing success, and we're pretty financially and wealthy now. But the money doesn't mean anything. It's the relationships. It's your time and your freedom to do what you want with your families and your kids, and your friends, and traveling. If you don't have all those other things, you don't really have much in life. That's why I bought Siesta Key, man. I'm pumped. There's like, I don't know, 10, 15, 20 people a quarter are going to go down there. We're going to have fun, and that's a couple hundred people a year.
Oh yeah, I'm in, Steve. You just let me know the date, and I'm honored.
I can't wait to see Dave Van Horn in a Speedo. This is going to be awesome.
Oh, say it isn't so. He works out, so I think he'd be presenting pretty well on that.
Well, we'll see. We'll see.
So it's interesting you mentioned, service, your emphasis on helping other people and being of service. And I'd say 2013 was the year that I changed my model from being focused on the money. When I sold to the federal government, it was just focused on money, the contracts and everything else. And then once I just learned, hey, let me be of service to people around me more so, that's when things really opened up to me. So that really resonates with what you're saying.
Your story is amazing. I can't wait to see where you are in 5 years. Like, it is going to be a celebration. I mean, you're doing well now, but man, are you building a monster? You're doing these interviews. You only take, I believe, with your classes, good quality people. I mean, I get to see your family, how they're growing and how you're there for them and what you're doing in your business and your life. We'll play this in 5 years. I want to see where we both are. And we're going to be spending a lot of time together, and it's going to be a lot of fun. But when you look back, you know, even from a year, remember you said you had that hard time like a year and a half ago?
Yeah.
Well, what did I tell you? One of the things that I think you had a couple properties or whatever, let it go, sell them.
Yeah.
Don't be scared. This is a good point. Don't be scared to sell your assets. You know, years ago when I started out, I didn't want to sell anything. I wanted to own all the notes. I wanted to keep all the properties. I didn't want to sell anything, right? But today, I have an amazing balance of buying and selling. And when you can, you know, I don't want to sell this property because there's $100,000 of the equity. In 5 years, there's going to be 150,000, right? No, sell the property. Bring in the 100 grand. Bring in the 15 grand. Bring in the 30 grand. There is nothing better in the world than having money in the bank and being able to sleep at night. When you can't sleep at night, that's when you have problems.
It was a scarcity mindset for me. So in other words, with the properties I held, I'm like, well, if I sell them, what if I don't get another one at this good of a price? And
it's all baloney. If you're in the game, you're in the game. If you're in the game, you're going to find assets. When people come to me and go, I can't find anything, you know, probably a couple of these guys are watching, and I'll tell the quick story. They tell me they couldn't find anything, right? We're searching for properties in Philadelphia, and we can't find anything. Oh, the market's expensive, and there's no bank financing. We got to sit with you, Lloyd. Well, I ended up throwing them out of my office. You know why? Because I asked them what their day was going to be like the next day. They're playing basketball. They're not getting to the office till 9 o'clock. They're done at 4 o'clock. Bullshit. I'm here at 5:30, 5:45 every single morning, including Saturday and Sunday. Do you want to win or you don't want to win? If you want to win, you got to be all in. Yeah. Don't come to me and tell me you can't find assets. There's how many houses are in this country? How many notes are in the country? No, you ain't cut me off now. I'm on a roll. There's tons of assets to buy. You can lend, you can borrow. It's there, but you got to be in the game.
I don't think I've had a weekend where I haven't had due diligence on a new opportunity. It's been nonstop all year long with just deal flow after deal flow. I mean, it's insane what's out there in the note space. Junior lien, senior lien, all of the above.
Game. You know, look, if you go back 10 years ago, all the realtors, they were gone. The ones that survived, the ones that are successful today are the ones that stayed in the game. They never left it. They just polished themselves up and made them better and experts in their field. And the people that I saw, the real estate agents that I see that hung in there 10 years ago, well, guess what? They're doing pretty good right now. Right? Because people get worried about recessions. Bring it on. Bring me a recession. They only last a year and a half. You're going to have a cycle. It's going to go bad. You got to hang in there when it's bad. But that's why I don't think you should be too leveraged out all the time. You know, that's why I've been selling things. I'm not selling everything, but I'm looking at what I have in, like, I wouldn't really call it debt. I'd call it leverage, good leverage or good debt. And I'm going, how much cash do I have on hand? What if we do go into a recession that the stock market might drop 20 or 30%? If you're over leveraged, you're going to create problems yourself. And what happens is towards the end of a cycle like this, everybody goes all in. They're scared of the loss. They're scared of losing out what they think everybody else is making. Just keep it simple.
And it's funny. I talked to one of your I don't know, former strategic partners in the note space, or they're just kind of into other businesses right now. And I told them, I just talked to him 2 days ago, and I said, I should send you a Christmas basket every year for leaving the note space and going off into make, you know, some greener pastures. Cause I love you. I love, you know, you because I've seen so many people leave the note space. I'm like, you know, that's great. That's just more opportunity for myself.
That's more for us. Where are they now? They're just involved in something else.
They're fishing. They're coming
all over again.
They're calling me.
Something new all over again. And it's just a vicious cycle for them.
Yeah, and they want to bounce back in, right? So they have one toe, 1 foot on this side of the fence, the other foot on the other side, and they're just wanting to kind of see where it's at and see which way to go.
How
But
much time do we have left there? Because there is a couple points. Is there any questions or are we good?
yeah, no, we're good, but we're getting compliments, but no questions. So go ahead, please make your points. We got 5 minutes.
All right. So I'll kind of like lead down the path at the end here. So I'm just going to give you, people ask me what I do to stay focused and motivated. And I started this about a year and a half ago, and I'm dead serious about this. It was coming out of a Tony Robbins event. And, you know, we talk about gratitude, and there's entitlement and there's gratitude. Once you feel you have entitlement, whether you're not successful and you haven't made it yet, or you're super successful, entitlement is a horrible thing. But when you have gratitude, it'll create a massive amount of success for you. So I always tell people when they get in trouble or they're down or they're depressed, I say, take a sheet of paper, and on the right-hand side of that paper, write about all the good things in your life: family, friends, getting up every day, being able to walk, not being paralyzed, being able to use your legs, your arms, your sight. There's probably 30 or 40 things. And then I want you to put on the left side of the paper your things that are bad in your life. I guarantee you, if you do this exercise, there's only 2 or 3 things in your life that are bad. The problem is, the reason we get down is because we only concentrate on those 2 or 3 things. And they bleed us. They bleed us to death because we're not looking at our successes and being thankful for and having gratitude for the good things in our life. So every single morning, I never miss. On a daily basis, when I'm traveling, I put a lot more time into it. But on a daily basis, it is 10 minutes of gratitude when I get up. It's usually within that first half hour, 45 minutes to an hour. It is 10 minutes. And I go through everything, man, for my friends, my family, things that I have, the simple things that I have. And I just go off for like 10 minutes. And then I started doing this. It takes time. If you try this, you have to give it at least 9 months. And then I sit there for another 10 minutes. And this is, you can do this. I think about where I'm going to be 5 years from now. I can literally, it's a video for me now of what I'm doing 5 years from now. Now, some people can't look out that far. There's certain people in my life that are like, I just can't, I can't do that. So maybe it's 6 months from now, or maybe it's a year. For me, I sit there because I can't meditate. I'll fall asleep. I just can't meditate. I'm too amped up, like too much energy. So I just think about, where am I going to be? I'm going to be down on an island. I'm going to be traveling, or I'm going to be in Europe, and I know who I'm going to be with. And I'm going to get on a boat, and I'll be buying more notes, or I'll buy $100 million building. I see myself getting on a yacht, or getting off a yacht, or just going to, you know, up and down, working out and being on a paddleboard, you know, walking up and down on the beach, watching sunsets. I love being there for the sunrise. It's my most favorite thing. This is when I do this, when I travel. And a lot of these things, you know, in the beginning, that started out as pictures. I could just picture it, right? But today it's literally a video. I can tell you things where I thought that I was going to be, I wasn't going to have these things for 5 years from now. It's all happening now. My goal was to have a house on an island, to be able to go wave running, walking, jet skiing, and be able to sit on the beach and see that sunrise. I really thought my life was going to be, well, that was last year, so another 4 years from now. But I'm doing these things now because it's in my subconscious. You get into this picture and envisioning it in this like video of your life 5 years from now. And when you do it every single day, it kind of feels like it's happening now. You should be doing it now. So these things started happening for me now. I was like, we got to get a place. Like, this shit's going to happen now. We can't wait 5 years from now. So it's 10 minutes of gratitude, of being thankful and grateful for anything in your life that might be important to you. But then it's really taking 10 minutes of really you want to be in the future and what your future looks like. And I actually always tell you, I got that toothbrush effect where I got that index card. It's right next to my toothbrush. I got my short-term goals on the back. I got my long-term goals. Every time I brush my teeth, I read it. And I know exactly what I want. I know exactly what I want in life.
And what's really fascinating is that you've only just touched on your story. You've only just touched on just kind of the pillars of running a successful business. And because I've heard you speak, you're going to be at Mid-Atlantic Summit next week. It's a big charity drive as well, in conjunction with the conference, or I think the whole conference, right, is built around that charity. Do you want to just mention what that charity is so everyone knows?
It's Dave Van Horn's charity. They build homes in the city of Philadelphia. It's just a phenomenal organization. And, if you have some really cool, this is what we need help with. We need more things to auction off. So Dave would be grateful. I would be grateful. If you have my cell phone number, text me. If you got Flyers tickets or Eagles tickets or Phillies tickets or something that there's something of value that people would bid on, I could really use some help. I mean, I've given a lot because I love Dave Van Horn. If you think about Dave, just to give him a little plug, he brought an industry of the note world to the Northeast.
Yeah.
How many lives have he changed? How much income has he brought to people's lives because he brought the non-performing second world to us of non-performing notes 13 years ago with that fantastic company, PPR. But, Dave's a dear friend. I think we all respect him. His name is bar none out there. It's great. And if anybody has anything that we can auction off, please contact me. We need help to raise money for this charity.
And what value range should someone anticipate for bringing something? Because I'll be there next week.
Well, something that's worth $200. I want to get people to pay $10,000 for. You know how I am.
Yeah. No,
it's just got to be something good that you think somebody would bid on. I'm doing 4 days in Siesta Key. I gave up my New England Patriot tickets when they play the Eagles. Look, I really want to go see the Patriots. It was really one of the games I want to go to, but I'm going to auction them off and give them to somebody. Now, once someone pays for them, they want to take me with them, then I'll be more than happy to go. But anything that you think somebody would get excited about, I guess everyone knows Jay Scott from Bigger Pockets.
Of course.
We're bidding off 3 days with Carol, his wife, Kerry, and me, and Jay Scott and Dave Van Horn are going to be in Siesta Key, and we're going to take 4 people down there, and I'm going to spend 2 or 3 days with them. So that's going to be one of the things that we're auctioning off. So that'd be pretty cool, right? To hang out with me.
That would be insane.
And
insane.
Carol's amazing. They're going to get to hang with Dave Van Horn for a couple days, and then you know how amazing Jay Scott is. I mean, the guy's off the chart, right? So just think, 4 or 5 people are going to get to spend time with 5 of us for a couple days, and we're going to have fun. That's what we're going to do. So if there's anybody that has anything that we could possibly auction off, their time, maybe a note, anything, just think of something that we could raise money for this great charity for Dave.
Do me a favor, and when we get off here, if you could put your contact information in the comment field. So because we have a bunch of people watching here. So Sean Munoz is going to auction off 4 days in Steamboat.
Sean, is that my man? Yeah, baby. Yo, it's going to be, I'll already buy that for us. It's already sold. I'm only kidding. It's going to be Sean. Well, Sean can't come because he owns it, but we might let him come. Right? Thank you so much, Sean. That's awesome. Please reach out to me. Dave is going to be so thankful. That is awesome.
Yeah, and I'll have something to auction off. I mean, whether it's a course or one of my, something, I'll do something, or I'll find something that I have
an hour of
significant
your time. If someone buys a note or something, you can call them and you can give them 2 or 3 hours over a 6-month period. We have to give back. We have to. It's just so important that we give back and be grateful and thankful. So Steamboat, that's awesome. It doesn't have to be that amazing, but I think I'm going to have someone hiding in the audience and bid on that.
I might do, what might be neat? I might just see if someone has interest in coming and seeing all my physical systems and how I have my whole business set up as a note investor. If you if you do workouts and you just want to see how well put together workout.
Let me give you let me just say out my cell phone number. Okay.
Yeah.
610-299-3999. 3503 at 610-299-3503. You got that, Martin?
What was the last four?
3503. Text
Okay.
me if you have something. And my email is Steve, STEVE, at Stone Bay Holdings with an S.com. Email me, text me. The event's next Thursday. So if you can contact me as soon as possible, because I actually have to get the information to somebody so they can create it for the event.
Okay, great. And I'm gonna see if Dave can let us know if there's a link to the charity so everyone knows what that is.
Yeah. You can go on to what is it? MidAtlanticSummit.com. I'm not really sure, but it's Mid-Atlantic Summit. Google it. It's up there. There's going to be like 400 people there, and it's sold out. And I'm going to be there, just anything. I'm around 7 days a week. I'm around Saturdays, Sundays, 10 o'clock Sunday night, 7 o'clock Sunday morning. If anybody needs help, if anybody needs someone to talk to, reach out to me. If you don't hear from me for a week, I'm busy. Text me again. Shoot me an email. IM me. If I blow you off for another week or two, it just might take a while for me to get back to you. But I'll get to you.
Awesome. Yes, you will. Yes, you will.
Who's your rock star? I mean, who's a couple of your rock stars that are watching? Anyone watching that's good?
Yeah, no, tons of, I could just go down the list. I know Taylor and Kim, but, Michael Solis is a friend of mine. He's blowing it up in California in the note space. Ali Morstad, obviously.
Who's that? What's her name?
Ali Morstad.
I know Ali. I'm only kidding around. This is rock star.
Yeah. Yep, she is. Sean Munoz. I mean, it's Alex Kogan is rocking it too, and he's a big home builder as well, and very successful. But yeah, Mark Pantak. I mean, I could just go down the list. And Julia Sun also too, out of the beautiful state of Washington, says bravo. So many gold nuggets. Yes, send me Dave's charity. Paying it forward. So you have a few people here, Steve. You're gonna be already generating. You need to do my program every time before this event happens.
That sounds good.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Steve, for being on with us. This was incredible. One of the best that I've had, and so I want to really, really thank you. What a good way to go into the weekend to spend this time with you, Steve.
Well, there's nothing better than one of the things I talked about business is being involved with men and women with great character. I see how much you love your family and your wife. You put it out there, you show it, you wear that heart on your sleeve, and that's what I love about you. And there's a lot of not so great people out there, but you are one of the amazing guys, and we're going to check to see where we both are in 5 years. And over the next 5 years, we're going to be enjoying life together. So I can't wait to see the whole family in Siesta Key, baby.
Are you sure about that? I got a lot of kids, but I'll hold you to it. We're on video here. Thank you, Steve Lloyd, and we will catch you next week at the Mid-Atlantic Summit.
See you next week. Let's go.
Bye.
See you, buddy.